The foundation was built before, but now I've got the Burj Khalifa on top of it. That's the best way to describe it. I would say my biggest issue before coming and working with you was how I used to attach my self-worth to predicted outcomes. My emotional state going upwards, downwards, it was literally oscillating consistently every single day. And because I was in these negative states and these positive states, I wasn't maximizing my input every single day. When you're doing a hypnosis, you're stepping into your authentic goals, the 2.0 identity, you just feel unlimited. Before working with Kyle, with the mindset I was exposed to, I thought the only way to have a very aligned day was through consistent meditation journal over an extended period amount of time. And because I've understood the layers, it's become so much easier to now observe throughout the day.
So I'm sitting here with my client Daniel. He runs a sales agency making about 95k a month. And ultimately, we've been working together for about a month now. And we're sitting down to speak about the shifts that he's had and the real results that he's getting in his life. So Daniel, what were one of the biggest problems that you had when you came to?
I would say my biggest issue before coming and working with you was how I used to attach my self-worth to predicted outcomes within my head. So I used to do certain inputs and I think that then would be a specific outcome to those inputs. It wouldn't happen and then my state would shift and it would become negative. And as you guys know, right, emotions are what directly influence actions and actions your position, right? And when your emotional state is not in the place it should be, you don't act in alignment to the 2.0 version of yourself, you lack productivity, you're just eventually not even going to be able to get to the position you desire. And that was me. I would always have my emotional state go upwards, downwards. It was literally oscillating consistently every single day. And because I was in these negative states and these positive states, I wasn't maximizing my input every single day because my productivity is dropping. So the biggest thing that helped me was obviously removing my self-worth and its attachment to my outputs. And now just understanding that I am worthy with or without type of thing.
Yeah, so essentially you were identifying yourself or tying your identity to the results you're getting in your business.
Yes.
So the business went down, the money went down, you felt worse.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what allowed you to stop doing that? Because that's a fucking huge shift. Now, even if the business goes down, you don't. But what allowed you to do it?
Well, the reason my emotional state was getting fucked was because of the meaning I was giving certain things, right? So my business making less money than the month before made me question myself of how can I pay my tea? Will I be able to pay my tea? Well, you'll realize everything in life is meaningless until you give it meaning. And the meaning I was giving business and it failing as well, right, wasn't congruent with the version of myself I was trying to become and the 2.0 state.
So if you were to take something seriously or take yourself seriously, what would you have for yourself?
Greater input. And they would do greater input, which would lead to greater output.
But what's stopping you do the greater input? It's a lack of something.
Lack of seriousness. The meaning I was giving it was completely irrational as well. So what helped me was becoming aware that I have the awareness, right, of my thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
1. Notice the awareness coming back to where you feel the seat supporting you. 2. Notice your mind becoming clearer now. 3. Notice the awareness is where you feel the seat supporting you. Bring it to the seat and nothing else. 4. And in a moment, I'm going to say 5, you'll open your eyes and you will just write down the ideal outcome. Every detail that comes to you intuitively. This is a life that you will live, that exists right now in potential. The life that you will have, because whatever you can see in your mind, you can hold in your hands. 5. Eyes open and flow.
And now understanding this, it makes me always question the meaning I'm giving certain experiences, actually try and identify, was it actually rational to think in this way? And now through this way of thinking, starting to question why my state may be getting affected through certain things, it's allowed me to have full control of my emotional state, which is, made me overpowered, bro.
So ultimately, most business owners, they're consumed by their emotions. They're overwhelmed in their business, and it's due to them not having conscious awareness around their state changing, what's happening, what the feelings mean when they show up, and being able to observe their thoughts and not be consumed by them. Ultimately, when I met Daniel was fairly conscious. I mean, Daniel was already hitting 60k months, doing these kind of numbers, so it's not as if he was starting from zero. But what's allowing him now to gain more control is being aware that he is not his thoughts, he's the awareness of them. And ultimately, how have you experienced this changing your day-to-day? You briefly touched on it there, but being the awareness, like, can you explain to maybe business owners that don't even really know what that means, how you've experienced the positive shift in your life due to that?
Well, think about it, right? When you are aware that you are not the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you experience on a day-to-day basis, you start to have true ownership of your day. So when I would notice myself sad beforehand, before working with Kyle, I am sad, okay? And because I am sad, I can't do X, Y, Z. But no, that's not the case anymore. Now I'm the awareness of my sadness, right? And because I'm the awareness of my sadness, this emotion of sadness holds no power over me, right? So that's the first thing that's massively helped me, right? Being the awareness, understanding that I am not my thoughts, feelings, or emotions. I am just the consciousness of that has massively helped with productivity. And then also becoming super clear with your goal, super clear on your meaning, because what you look for is what you find.
Right, so imagine you have the life that you want, right? The impact, the bit, like every single part of it, what does that give you?
Joy.
Joy, so write down joy. Just write it as quickly as possible, right? So you write down joy, what does joy give you?
Fulfillment.
Perfect. So write it down, what does fulfillment give you?
Peace.
Cool, write it down. Just write it down up top to bottom, you don't need to do the arrows. Just note them down. So what does peace give you? Quick. Just answer.
Serenity.
What does peace give you? Values and emotions, what does peace give you?
Gratitude.
No, what does peace give you?
Love.
Write it down. Perfect. What does love give you? Quick. What does love give you? Just answer.
Wholesomeness.
No, what does love give you?
Peace, joy, love.
Okay, so it gives you peace again. So write ×2 next to peace.
Oh, can we say the same thing again?
Well, if we're looping back around, it means that that has got to be one of the main ones, right? So love gives you nothing. Love just gives you peace, leads you back to peace.
Yeah, I feel peaceful.
Okay, and what does peace give you?
Fulfillment.
Cool. So, and then what does fulfillment give you?
Peace.
Cool. So you're looping back around, right? So these are likely your core values, or what you think your core values are. This is the interesting part. This is what you think they are, right? So what's more important, joy or fulfillment?
Fulfillment by far.
Right? What's more important, fulfillment or peace?
Peace.
What's more important, peace or love?
Peace.
Okay, so peace is number one. So just write number one, peace. What's more important, joy or fulfillment?
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment or love?
Fulfillment.
Cool. Fulfillment's number two. And what's more important, love or joy?
Love.
Cool. Love's number three. Perfect. So we've got our core values pretty clear, or what you think your core values are. This is the core values you think that you'll be fulfilling in order when you have the life that you want.
If every single day you're seeking your goals, okay, and looking for fulfillment and looking for alignment, you naturally start to spot certain actions which aren't congruent with the 2.0 version of yourself you're trying to become. And just by spotting it and now understanding that you are the awareness, you can instantly just take a step back for the misaligned action, completely detach. But also have full control over your emotional state with things maybe you couldn't control, we're still detached. This attachment as well to just understanding the awareness mindset has massively helped me obviously scale now, because guys, everything is mindset. If you look through my IG page, I'll be telling you guys, everything truly is mindset. And this is why I needed to invest in Kyle, because I could still tell that I had certain ceilings within my subconscious. And if I did not make the unconscious conscious, there was no way I'd be able to scale to 1 million mark, 10 million.
And ultimately, your state is going to dictate everything in your life. Your emotional state drives your actions. And even if you look at it through the metaphysical, the esoteric lens, the law of attraction, law of vibration, the state that you operate in, even the reality transferring lens, will align you with a lifeline that resonates with that state. So if you can't control or master your state, you're really not in control of the results you're getting in your life. Ultimately, when Daniel came to me, he didn't have real control over his state all the time. He had waves of greatness, waves of productivity, and then it was followed by sabotage or feeling in this negative state. Now, Daniel said to me today, we went for some food, I actually can't be in a bad state for any period of time because of the awareness that I didn't have.
It's fact, bro. And one thing which you told me recently as well was everything is a choice. You choose to be angry, choose to be sad, you choose to be happy. There'd be loads of things that would happen in my business, but I didn't necessarily feel like I did all the inputs, but shit was still hit with that. I did the correct hiring process, but the hire was still shit. And I would notice it would affect my emotional state. And I feel like I was rightfully meant to be annoyed. But at the end of the day, it's a choice to stay. It's a choice to focus on your negativity. And what you'll realize is when you're positive, you are consistently always getting positive thoughts, productive ideas, and that's how your business actually scales, moves forward. And that's how you're going to feel great as well. So just being aware of either that, it being a choice, and it makes no sense logically to pick the negative choice as just 10x the business, but also 10x my own mental health. Bro, scheme fucking great.
There's actually something that Daniel said. We spent a week together in Marbella. You're going to see that in a vlog coming out soon. And ultimately, we spent a week in Marbella in a villa. We locked in one-to-one though the week before that.
Yeah.
Right? And you had these kind of negative feelings when the business dropped, this emotional resonance with not feeling good enough. We done a hypnosis session in your apartment. After that, did you have the feeling? Did you have the resistance?
No, zero emotional resonance. I've already done one hypnosis. Did this around 3 days ago to remove any subconscious blocks, which was like removing confidence when it came to seeing how my business was doing. What I mean by this specifically is what I found out about myself was when I was younger, used to be a little school nerd. Parents made sure I was always getting good grades. And I would attach my self-worth to how well I was doing in school. And business has become the new school. And my self-worth would literally dip every time I wasn't doing as well as I expected to do in business. And operating from this low emotional state meant I just wasn't acting in alignment, nor seeing the results I wanted to see. So through doing that hypnosis, we now feel super worthy. Even when the business isn't making as much money as I expect to see, our emotional state is still so high, and it means that we actually maintain the amount of cash flow to the business. Recently, we've been doing sauna, been going gym consistently, been doing every single thing I know I need to, and now we've been like working out what have been the main things holding me back subconsciously, what are my core values, and now we're going to go into actually painting out the picture of my life in the next year, the 12-month goal, really developing clarity, really understanding the version of myself I need to be for that person to materialize. Through doing this, and then also the hypnosis, from the hypnosis on Friday, it's game over, it's done. And it's deep, people. It's deep. He had to go into my life when I was a little year 7 kid and identify the first time I even felt this feeling. What you'll realize is that this thing called emotional resonance is basically something will happen when you're younger, right? For me, it was me having bad grades. I would attach my self-worth to how good my grades looked. And we do this as a way of survival. That's the way we evolve, because the thing is, right, our brain needs to start logging certain experiences and through confirmation bias predict what the future's going to look like. That's how we stay safe. What was happening was I was now making business, right, the new school, right? And this is what I was doing wrong, because I was attaching all my self-worth to how well the business was doing. But now, obviously, I've removed this. I've understood that, okay, that used to help back in the days to not get beatings from my dad, but now there is no what beating me up here. And it wasn't necessarily helping me, it was fucking up my state. And now that I have some control over my state.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Like, I came up, my eyes opened when you were like, okay, now you've opened the door and you're looking at a mirror type of thing. Then I started to go back in when I was like, I am the goat, I am.
Yeah, perfect. It's fucking, the way that worked for you is fucking perfect. The way it worked for Siggy, the way Siggy was like really, really vivid with imagination the full time. Perfect Brad's type of bread.
We're feeling highly favored, bro.
We're unlimited, mate. This is the thing. These things are stored unconsciously, subconsciously, below your conscious awareness. So Daniel was getting this emotional resonance from when he was younger, this anxiety or fear when things weren't going right, but it logically didn't make sense. And ultimately what we done the first week of working together, we done a hypnosis session to remove that emotion, that stored emotional charge from that memory. And literally after that first session, Daniel didn't have that emotional resonance. He didn't have this feeling that showed up as resistance. Ultimately, it's an unconscious reaction. It's not something you consciously choose to feel. If you have stored emotions that are going to be emotionally resonant with the present moment, physiological state is going to change unconsciously. Next thing you know, your focus is going to be on the wrong thing. Your self-talk starts to be negative, and then your behavior is dictated by that self-talk. Without the conscious awareness, you just find yourself in loops of procrastination, feeling shit, going out of flow state. Now Daniel has the awareness, and with the hypnosis removing the emotional resonance, he no longer has that feeling of resistance that shows up. I would love you to tell the camera about the kind of hypnosis sessions we done. See, that first one was sick because it did really, really help you. But the ones we done in the villa, like, what was your experience with the hypnosis? Like, just authentically, transparently, you don't need to use any kind of hypnosis jargon, just from your lens. What did we do in the villa and how did it help?
And as you know, like the midsection, I don't even remember it because I went into, I don't even know if it was sleep, but
During the session, yeah.
during the session. But after, I feel unlimited. I feel like the third eye in my brain is opened. I feel like my forehead's increased in size type of thing. It's like you almost feel like whatever was weighing down on you has now been released and you have so much clarity of your goals. Your thinking is so big.
As you feel heavier, notice your whole body completely relaxing as you just sleep all the way down, all the way deep, completely relaxing. Now I want you to find yourself standing in front of an elevator, and you've been here before. Notice the button on the elevator. Notice you press that button now. Notice the doors open and you step into the elevator that you've been in before. Pay attention to the number of floors. 0 where you are now, all the way up to floor number 10. You feel anything's changed in terms of how you feel right now?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't even know, bro. Just feel like more focused, thinking bigger. Because like this month I'm on like 25 bands and I'm just like, nigga, what is 25 bands? Like, what even is that money? I have to be thinking way bigger type of thing.
Perfect, that's good.
When you're doing a hypnosis, you're stepping into the authentic goals, the 2.0 identity, and just through stepping into that, you start to align your actions with a ceiling much further greater.
Another really, really cool thing to reinforce is, we had a call after the hypnosis that we've done in Marbella. Daniel said, Kale, we need to do more hypnosis. This is too good to be true, how good I feel. Like, this is too good. Like, you said that on the fuck. I was actually laughing. I was like, bro, don't fuck yourself, because that is actually how it was meant to feel. It was meant to feel easy. How you felt when you were saying that, it seems too good. Like, what was the experience?
Yeah, bro, like, you just feel unlimited. You feel so unlimited, and because you're used to not feeling like that, you almost expect yourself to go back into that state. But that's not the case, and I still feel great. I still feel amazing. We're just excelling every single day now, but
Perfect. So you've worked with mindset coaches before, and I think a lot of people do work with mindset coaches. From your perspective, us doing this work, how is that different from mindset coaches you worked with before?
my mindset coaches so far brought me very close to God, made me really understand the Bible and its message within it. Before, helped me develop a sense of awareness and this idea of like, you can control your reality, right? The basic idea of like beliefs drive actions, actions reality. Becoming clear on a goal, which made me obviously like try and focus for alignment and do meditation, do journeying.
And just notice in like 2 or 3 breaths, when you open your eyes, notice the first thing that you notice and just pay attention to it. I'm here.
Me too, bro. I'm so here. Bro, it feels like, you know what it kind of feels like? It feels like your perspective has been like, you can see more to the sides. Do you notice that?
Yeah, actually do.
Like, you can see way more to the sides because you're more present. Versus like when you're in a fight or flight state, you're primal.
Focus is narrow.
You're narrow, you get narrow.
Yeah.
Versus now it feels like I can see fucking 360 around me, bro. It's so surreal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It's actually crazy, bro.
But then what Kyle's done is helped me build up on that foundation. The foundation was built before, but now I've got the Burj Khalifa, and that's the best way to describe it. Just the concepts, the hypnosis, these things have directly now got into my brain, just found certain things that just weren't aligned, weren't congruent with the version of myself that I was trying to become. Still had that ceiling and completely removed it, but as well has given me such a deeper understanding of mindset. It's not just beliefs drive action, it's just reality. There's layers to that shit, right? And because I've understood the layers, it's become so much easier to now observe throughout the day. Before working with Kyle, with the mindset I was exposed to, I thought the only way to have a very aligned day was through consistent meditation journey over an extended period amount of time, right? But now understanding concepts like being the observer, being the awareness, you can almost tap into your journal state throughout your day and actively and consciously align yourself consistently throughout the day, which makes you massively overpowered. So I'd say that's the biggest thing that's helped me. Foundation was built, but now the foundation is even stronger and the burst geek is built up.
Again, shows the levels to it and the ego involved. And ultimately, I want to kind of just touch on how deep this goes without sounding like I'm kind of just saying mindset jargon, right? As children, we do certain things to be rewarded. We develop certain needs, right? And a lot of the time, as children, we develop this need for approval, this need for validation, this need to be liked or rewarded. Ultimately, one of the things with Daniel, without going into the details of it because it's personal to him, there was childhood patterns that had formed, like he said, in year 7. He had this pattern, I'm happy to say the details of, but it was shown up unconsciously as an adult. And ultimately, I was going back into his childhood and understand how we develop these patterns, how they're shown up today. That was one of the biggest shifts that you had. You stopped looking for that approval. And as soon as you stopped looking for that approval, I mean, without even like saying the personal details, how has that helped you understanding those deep childhood patterns?
It's fucking insane because like just the awareness of it made me start noticing it, right? And then when you start noticing it, you kind of just step out of it and you don't continue with the action you're going to take because you now understand old program, old identity. So I feel like that's why it's so important, right? You have certain old programs, you have certain aspects within your identity which still aren't serving you, which still aren't helping you. And just the hypnosis, just the awareness of these things now makes you aware of when you're about to do it. And then you don't do it because you're aware it's not aligned with the 2.0 version of yourself. And guys, what you'll realize that what a lot of people focus on so much is they're just so focused on doing the new thing, learning new things, but you'll realize that why Carl is so important is because he provides you the most important information.
So I want you to think about your health. How does it look like in your health? Your wealth, business, relationships, and spirituality as well. So that's the kind of main prompts. And then like within that, what does life look like in your relationships? How are you in alignment because your relationships look like this? Your business, you're in alignment with freedom because you can do X, Y, Z. You have this set up, this thing looks like this.
So let's say with health and let's say with freedom, I'm in alignment with, like health is in alignment with freedom when I'm in good health because that means I can not be sick, play sports,
You're
look good.
Free of illness, free of stress.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you could tell how you started to feel fulfilled when you were writing that down. Perfect.
Knowing what not to do. And if you know what not to do, okay, if you can completely remove the old identity, guess what happens? The 2.0 identity, the version of yourself that you know you need to become. Now the light gets literally shone on that because keep in mind, we were all born in the 2.0. We were all in that state already. It was just as we grew up, we brought it to 1.0 limitations. And as soon as you unlearn them with Kyle, you go back to the normal self, normal state, feeling happy, feeling blessed, feeling highly favored, and you quite literally just attract your reality.
Fucking literally. They're literally born unlimited, and then you learn all these limitations. In the process that I take my clients through, you unlearn those limitations, but to the deepest core levels, like to the point where you're looking back at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and understanding at what point you became limited. And that awareness, like Daniel said, making the unconscious conscious, like I mentioned earlier, for the most part, that's enough. For the most part, just becoming consciously aware of the unconscious patterns, unconscious beliefs that are literally creating the perception that you have of reality. Your whole life is created based on the beliefs you hold inside your mind. And without you being consciously aware of those unconscious beliefs, you're not even aware of why you see life the way you see it. Obviously, then we use hypnosis to go even deeper, remove the emotional charge, remove the resistance from his nervous system, the identity layer, the deepest layer of Daniel, essentially. And when Daniel said, this is too good to be true, it's almost like I'm now expecting like things might not be like this all the time. Because it was almost too good to be true that he was just flowing with no fucking resistance. But I go to the deepest level. I don't leave any stone unturned. I don't allow my clients to leave me and not be unlimited. Using that word is actually valid. Because there's no limitations anymore. There's no resistance. There's nothing that he's learned that's holding him back. Because he's uncovered all the lessons he learned that held him back. He's unlearned every single one of it. So Daniel, obviously you came to me making 60k. It's not as if you came to me making nothing. Like you weren't in a bad position. I think that actually makes it an even stronger point to make, like why you came to me to go to the next level. Why was this the thing that's going to take you past where you were at, but you came to?
Because I know that mindset's 90% of the tactics are 10. When you have the correct mindset, as I said, when you're in that high state, the state closest to the 2.0 version of yourself, you already know all the tactics. You already get all the ideas. You just act to line, just do the shit you really need to do, because you'll realize as a business owner, you know most of the shit you need to do, you just don't do it. Mindset is everything. And the thing is, right, if you don't feel deserving of the identity you're pursuing, no skills or tactics are going to actually allow you to hit it. Because first of all, you need to feel deserving. So mindset is literally the foundation of everything. Then it's skill set.
Fucking perfect, 100%. And imagine you could understand on the deepest levels the things that hold you back. The invisible resistances.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but like when I see myself stay stagnant for 3 months, then there's obviously a ceiling. It's just the awareness that I had before of just noticing no growth means that there's obviously something wrong in time.
100%.
Bro, you know one thing that's fucking helped? Frictionless. Look at things you're struggling to do and look at where there's friction.
Yeah. So another thing that I really reinforce with my clients, and especially Daniel, is concerning yourself for your future self. And how can you make the life for them in the present, when they're experiencing the present, frictionless? This is one of the key concepts that we actually spoke about. It's not necessarily a key teaching that I teach, but it's a mindset shift that I give my clients. It's concerning yourself for your future self and being able to look back and be grateful for your past self. Shout out Chase Hughes. Ultimately, Daniel, you said that was one of the biggest things that helped you, was creating that frictionless environment for your present self, essentially your future self, but in the
Too overpowered. I used to struggle with content all the time. When I asked myself, how do I make it as frictionless as possible? Did that 3 times we're posting a day. You know what I mean? And a lot of us don't even understand why we're not doing certain things we need to do. But you realize is that there's just so much friction in the process of doing that thing that you're struggling to do. And you purposely got it there to go on and do it. But as soon as you shine the light on that friction, now you feel almost retarded, mind my French, to keep that there. Because now you know you're actively avoiding